How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we have another how to beat, and we're playing against Live Twin Spright. Before we begin, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new as always. And I did wanna, I've been grinding DB for the last few days. I don't know how I have the energy to do that, but I've been climbing. The deck has been really solid, and in the coming days, you're going to see a test hand of the build. And again, the build is based around Nicolas's 60 card build from the French National. So, of course, there is a video for that on my channel. If you're looking for a similar build, I did make some changes, but I did play a lot of DB to show you guys a lot of matchups so you can get ready for your WCQs, basically. So let's just kick this off versus Live Twin Spright. We're seeing a pretty stacked hand, access to all the engines, and of course for Branded, no non-engine cards, which is what you will expect to see in the 60 card build. They do the regular combo. The Live Twin variant is pretty fine to deal with most of the time because of the fact that Branded just has huge monsters, which really helps. And when it comes to Runic, it's a little bit harder because they have a lot of non-engine to just get rid of your cards. But when it comes to Live Twin, they kind of rely on Lila and Kissikil to draw cards, pop cards, and basically IP. That's mostly what their deck is based around on. But yeah, it should be okay to play against. We open Ad Libitum Allure, Retribution, Brandon Red, Quem, and Albion. So here what I'm trying to do is, I think it's worth it to start digging through the deck. I do want to make Brandon Red live here, so I send Albaz. I get deployment, which is a very good draw off of that. They, of course, get to draw a card here. They draw Infinite Impermanence, and they just fire off IP here preemptively. They get to Nightmare Griffin. So for me here, it's all about getting rid of this Nightmare Griffin. So it's either normal summoning... just normal summoning Albaz here could work as well because this only affects special summon monster. But I try to dig through my deck, and Allure of Darkness is so good at that. So Lubellion, grab Serenir. That's already a way to out the Griffin because you can just crash into it. It doesn't have any battle protection, but still keep digging through it, which is something that I will eventually do. I did want to hold the Serenir here for the Kissikil when they try to summon this to pop a card, right? So you kind of need backup for, just outing that. But look at the card advantage at hand. This deck just draws so many cards. It's basically the Runic of Branded at this point. I send the Retribution from the hand here to summon the Albion from the graveyard so I can threaten the Griffin with this card. Again, I have two 2500 attackers. This in the graveyard is also really good to get the graveyard ready for when Serenir hits the graveyard, in which case we're going to be able to banish the Retribution, grab the Branded Fusion off of there. So they fire this off. I hold the Serenir especially for that. They have to summon something else, basically. And then I go to battle, crash into this, send Branded Fusion, crash into this. It's funny how small their monsters are. Even Quem gets over their link. It's really insane. Lubellion, grab Branded Lost, banish the Retribution, grab the Branded Fusion back to hand, get ashed. And here I can go for Fusion Duplication. I do want to get interruptions on the board. So what I do here is try to maximize the cards in my hand to get as many interruptions as possible. Because I know turn 3 going against Spright, they don't have a lot of push, especially if it's not Runic or for hire. So getting a Dragos Tapelia and a Mirror Jade on the board is just, usually enough against this deck. So what I'm trying to do here is, again, maximize this Lubellion. Since Lubellion can shuffle back, it's sometimes worth it to go for Lubellion, Chain, and Red on the Albaz. So you get a fusion off of these, and then the Lubellion shuffles back what you banished. So essentially it's a 2-for-1. It does cost you an additional card from hand, but what I'm planning to do here is just wall up against this deck to have as many interruptions as possible at this point. So I search for the Mercurier, search for the Fright for Patchwork, Lubellion, Albaz, shuffle them back. So I get these two on the field, which is really good. Usually, you make one monster level 1, then you banish another monster. You should be okay against this deck. Dragos Tapelia, negate this. They don't search. They have the second star in their hand, and they have two really, really strong board breakers here. And I do misplay here. I do make a mistake with this specific hand. So change of heart, target the Mirror Jade. I chain the Mirror Jade here to make sure that the Quem is live. What happens here is that they take the Mirror Jade. Since the card left the extra deck, I get to summon the Albaz from the graveyard, make another Mirror Jade since I have more cards in hand. So basically, we're back in square one. At this point, I did add a card to hand here, and then they have talents to take. Now, here I misplayed because I honestly should have let them take the Mirror Jade. They did target by mistake. You shouldn't target. You need to wait for the effect to resolve. But I do chain to banish my own Mirror Jade. Now, in my opinion, this was a huge misplay. Like, why do I even care? Like, they could have, they could link with it. If I get the Dragostapelia on my field, like, even if they kill the Dragostapelia with the Mirror Jade, it doesn't really do anything. So they end up taking the Dragostapelia. That's what I'm saying. Like, I lost 2 interruptions. For this one card killed 2 interruptions from them, and then they have starters. So basically, this full combo from there. So this was a misplay on my part, honestly. I think we do end up clutching this, but it's going to be much grindier against this deck for some reason. Now, they do their combo, blah, blah, blah. They summon from the graveyard. They get the Galila. They summon back. They draw a card. They attack. They can't get really over the Lubellion. And they set 3, and I'm like, whoa, holy crap. So I know they have Smashers. These 2 I wasn't aware of because they drew into them. Econ is nice. But I have follow-up. So, Rindrum, summon this Albion back. Just get bodies on the board. You could do that. Search for Branded Fusion. Draw a card for turn. And I go for the Aluber here. Now, again, I try to go for this to grab my Regained. And again, I misplayed here. I should have summoned... I have an Albaz in the graveyard. I should have summoned the Cartesia first. Now my Aluber just get impermed. It's not super impactful here because I would have gotten Brandon Red in this scenario. Because the 60 card build plays another one. Now I go for the Cartesia. I try to fusion summon. They just basically click buttons. I get Queritus, which is pretty good in this scenario to get a lot of damage in, especially since I have Branded Fusion. Yeah, they draw a card. They draw into Dark Hole. I go for Branded Fusion. I don't have any more Mirror Jades, so I'm trying to shuffle back resources into the deck. Granganule, Branded Lost, get Springen's Kid so I can grab things like Brandon Red from the graveyard. And now the Econ, I think these are all zeroed out. These 2 are zeroed out, but it's kind of funny. They pop this. I get a Luber as Chain Link 2. Don't forget to chain block your Queritus. Albaz Fusion, go for Titanic Lad. Should be a lot of damage, but not enough. Unfortunately, not enough. They still live after this, and they have Dark Hole in the hand. And in this build specifically, you don't see Branded opening that much. So, it could have been much more, much simpler. This game is going on for a while. They just wipe the board. They pass turn, but I have follow-up just for, normal summon Cartesia and attack for game. They make me go first here. Opening hand, we have Edge Imp. We have Tactics, Droll, Tragedy, Deployment. They have 2 Dark Hole. When I saw that Dark Hole, I was saying to myself, let's just straight up play around the Dark Hole. So I go for this. When you have Tragedy, Deployment in hand, this is one of the best lines. That way you get more cards in hand. Usually you do that with the Cartesia, but here you get more cards if you go for the Patchwork here. So I just stock up on cards, already +2, which is great. Aluber, Branded Fusion, just go for the regular old line. And I am pretty much, at this point, in my head, I'm like, just make sure you play around Dark Hole. Make sure you have a way to stop their Dark Hole. This is why I grabbed Albion here and not Mercurier. Because I don't have access to opening yet. See, I send the opening right here to make sure my field is protected. Desires, clutch, amazing. Draw 2 more cards. Again, I thought I was going for second, obviously. And then I have pretty much the best setup this deck can get at this point. Besides Quem, I didn't have access to Quem here, but still really, really good. So again, we were playing against the Dark Hole, right? Yeah, we were playing against it. We weren't playing against 2 Dark Hole, for sure. I don't activate anything here. I'm like, I have Brandon Red, which is going to bring back 2 monsters. It's going to bring back, it's like going to make another Mirror Jade, and I'm going to make, another monster with these 2. And I have Droll. They usually won't OTK you, so that's fine. Now I play into the talents because I have to. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, do I activate Mirror Jade here? But if I don't, like, I don't care if they draw cards or look at my hand. It doesn't matter. Like, these don't do anything. Their talents can't do anything to me. But making sure that they don't end on a board is what wins the game. So Lila, Brandon in red. I go for the Chimera here. Yeah, with this, search my courier, pop 1, draw 2, and then they go. I let them take this time. Now I have Mercurier in hand. I have this to banish. They don't really have anything to do. They just go for this. They go for this. Look at my hand at this point. Absolutely insane hand with Chimera and stuff. This pops, and yeah, that's basically GG's. So yeah, this was not Runic. Sorry, this was Live Twin Spright, a deck that has a lot of power spells, and some misplays here out of my part. This is especially why I want you guys to see these videos. So hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comment down below. What do you think about this matchup? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.